Due to COVID-19, this meeting will be conducted as a Zoom meeting pursuant to the provisions of Assembly Bill 361, which suspends certain requirements of the Brown Act. This meeting is being live streamed on the CCTA website. The chair will call upon members, staff, and other speakers by name. Please speak clearly and state your name before giving comments or remarks. Persons participating via Zoom with their cameras enabled are reminded that their activities are visible to viewers. Members participating by Zoom wishing to speak should physically raise their hand and unmute their mic when called upon. Members should mute their mics when done speaking. Citizens participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the Raise Hand feature or dial *9 if participating via phone, and the chair or staff will call upon them at the appropriate time. Citizens will have 3 minutes to speak. After 3 minutes, staff will lower their hand and mute their mic. Participants via phone will be called upon by the last 4 digits of their phone number. It is requested that public speakers state their names and organization, but providing such information is voluntary. Written public comments received in accordance with the teleconferencing special notice for public comment guidelines are printed on the meeting agenda. If authors of the written correspondence would like to speak, they should raise their hand and the chair will call upon them at the appropriate time. All written correspondence received after that and during the meeting will be entered into the record. A roll call vote will be taken for all action items. Thank you for participating in a meeting of the Contra Costa Transportation Authority.
Great. And I don't know if I officially said I called us to order at 6 o'clock, but I did for the record to make sure it's there. So thank you for the video. Terry Ann, can you please conduct roll call?
Yes. Member Bristow?
Here.
Member Carr?
Here.
Member Esquivel?
Here. Here.
Thank you. Member Hammond?
Here.
Member Miller?
Present.
Member Moriarty?
I'm here.
Member Sanders?
Here.
Vice Chair Linder?
Here.
Chair Ash?
Here.
Hey, we do have a quorum. We have members Bankert, Chahal, Asuna, and Wayne absent, and Member Hurley resigned as of yesterday from the committee.
Yeah, I saw that. So we have and thank you for copying the clerk in San Ramon. So hopefully we get they're at least aware of it, right? So I appreciate that. And we have a new member here, Chris Sanders from the town of Moraga. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself and say hey?
Hi, so my name's Chris Saunders. I've lived in, that's all right. I respond to many different names. I've lived in Moraga, I think 25 or 26 years. I have worked in the transportation industry for the last 30 as a provider to Caltrans and other DOTs around the world. So we made crash cushions and the movable barrier that's on the Golden Gate Bridge. So I'm retired from them and looking forward to working with you guys.
That's great. I appreciate that. Have we received, Terry, have we received any public comments? I believe we did. I saw one that I read, right?
Yeah, we received the one written public comment from Craig Bender that was sent to the committee earlier today, as well as posted to our website.
Okay, great. And is there anyone from the public that is on here?
No public.
Okay.
No public comment.
Okay, so we will not, we have nobody for public comment at this time. So we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Are there, related to the summary of actions from March 22nd, 2023, and the attendance log for the March meeting, are there any changes or comments from the committee? Okay, Terry Ann, have we received any public comments?
We have not received any public comment.
Okay, if anyone, this is consent. All right, if anyone from the public would like to speak on the consent calendar, please raise your virtual hand and staff and I will call on you. We don't have anybody though. Do I have, Okay, do I have a motion and a second for approving the minutes?
I move that we accept them as written.
Thanks, Ed.
I'll second.
Thanks, Michael. I saw you coming, Patty. All right, Terry Ann, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Okay, so just to confirm, that was motion by Miller, seconded by Carr.
Yep.
Thank you. Member Bristow,
Yes.
member Carr,
Yes.
member Esquivel,
Yes, yes.
member Hammond,
Yes.
member Miller,
Aye.
member Moriarty,
Yes.
member, is it Saunders?
Yes,
Saying it right now. Thank
said
you.
yes to both.
Vice Chair Linder,
Yes.
Chair Ash.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously with members Bankert, Chahal, Asuna, Vega, and Wayne absent.
Okay, thank you. Matt, we're gonna move on to the regular agenda items and action items. And I think the first item will be introduced by Matt Kelly and presented by the city of Pleasant Hill. So the wonderful, super fabulous, awesome Matt Kelly, please take us away.
Wow, how do I follow that? Thank you, Chair Ash.
Well, I built it up, so you just have to roll into it now.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, members. We have a new member tonight. We are in the middle of checklist season, as we like to call it here at CCTA. So we have 2 growth management program checklists tonight. And I didn't organize them geographically on purpose, but they just happen to be from 2 neighboring cities in Central County. So it is Central County night tonight, but you'll get a flavor from the rest of the county in the coming weeks. I just wanted to introduce City of Pleasant Hill, who are going first tonight. This is just a reminder, the calendar years 2020 and 2021 Measure J Growth Management Program Compliance Checklist, and City of Pleasant Hill is being represented by Onathan tonight, and I'll let him introduce himself. And I think he's got a presentation to. Are you ready to share on your end, Onathan? Or did you...
Yes, I am.
Okay. So he'll be sharing that, and we'll let him present, and then we'll come back for questions. So go ahead, Onathan.
Okay. Thank you, Matt, for the introduction, and good evening, Chair and members, and good evening to my colleagues from my neighboring city. They're all here. I can see them. So with that, let me go ahead and start sharing my presentation. Trying to get to my page to do the presentation mode. I'm pretty sure you can see the presentation, but
Yeah, it might be easy. Can you get to the one at the bottom right?
there you go. Okay,
Here we go.
can you all see the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead and start it. Once again, good evening. So let me give you a quick and a brief summary of our checklist for year 2021. So on the development side, especially on the housing, in 2020, we have approved 61 units, and out of that 61, 21 was moderate income, and 40 of those units were above moderate income. And we issued that year 16 building permits, and with the 1 moderate income and 15 were above moderate income. On 2021, we had a great year. We approved 254 units, And out of that, we had 9 very low income and 6 low income and 37 moderate and 202 above moderate income. And also, even though construction was a little slow, but we did issue 36 building permits consisting 20 moderate income and 18, excuse me, above moderate income. And part of the main project that brought a lot of the residential project to that is the Blake Riggs multifamily development right in the heart of downtown. It's 85 Cleveland, right next to the city hall and our downtown. And it consists of a 2.3 acre parcel with 189 multifamily units, starting from studio to 1 bedroom, consisting about 561 square feet to about 1,200 square feet. And it provides 304 parking spaces and 60 bicycle parking. So this is going to be our first, probably a 4-story high residential project in Pleasant Hill, especially it's going to be sitting next to downtown. And also we have issued permits for 401 Taylor Boulevard project. It consists of about 5 acre parcel with a 31 detached 2-story to 3-story units. And the square foot range from about 2,300 to 3,000 square feet. And also it provides ample open space, about 63,000 square feet of common open space as well. And 6 of the 31 includes ADUs. As you can see, we only had about 6. I'm pretty sure they'll come back once a property is sold and constructed. They will come back for more ADUs to add it to the project. And Oak Park Properties by David On. This is right next to our newly opened library on Monticello and Oak Park. And it's about 5 acre parcel and includes about 34 single family residential units. And this project provided ample offsite improvement, including the Monticello, to provide a new street access to the library and also to the future Rec and Park sports ground as well. And of course, while I'm here, I will talk about the Pleasant Hill Library as well. We were very excited to open the library last year, and it's already received several awards, and including the APWA this summer. And it consists of a lot of rooms, different spaces for all ages, to have residents and everyone in Contra Costa Boulevard. It consists of a 24,000 square feet interior building and consists of a 50,000 brand new building with brand new books to the library. Also includes activity yard, outdoor activity yard, and a retreat for someone to relax and read a book and look into the creek and the landscaping around there, and provided ample bike parking and also electric vehicle charging station as well. Includes a lot of natural lighting. It's a net zero building. We provided solar panels as well, and also zero carbon footprint building. And on the 2021, we didn't have a major roadway project because, the following year we had a huge project. So the project only had about $1.1 million worth of funding towards street improvement. It included 20 streets, a residential neighborhood, and also upgraded 10 ADA compliance ramp, as well as provided 235 linear feet of curb and gutter as part of the project. And one of the sought after project was the Pleasant Hill Road Sidewalk Gap Closure Project. This is actually provides a connectivity from all the way from Gregory to the Pleasant Hill Elementary School. And there was a big gap it was necessary to fulfill, and we went ahead and installed a new sidewalk. This provides all the kids to walk from the residential area to the Pleasant Hill Elementary School. Also provide connectivity to everyone who lives in the neighborhood to the trail nearby as well. And we continue to do a lot of signage and striping improvement throughout the year and throughout the city. Especially, we tend to refresh and improve crosswalks in and around the school, as well as providing more ped and bike improvement throughout. One of the things that we are working on is a first ped and bike master plan for the city of Pleasant Hill. We had numerous meetings with the residents online while during COVID, and recently we held another town hall meeting to receive input from the residents and school, as well as other Bike East Bay and Bike Pleasant Hills. And we are wrapping up and making necessary changes to implement the information we have received, and we hope to get this approved this year, especially probably this summer we will have it completed. Our 2022 to 27 capital improvement project, it's about $26 million. It's not a big funding compared to our neighboring cities, but nevertheless, it's great for a small city like us. And in this particular fiscal year, we did not include any general fund. We pretty much rely on Measure K and other grant revenues and other local revenue for it. And this project also help improve and maintenance aspect of it, traffic striping, annual creek maintenance, sidewalk maintenance, citywide maintenance program, bridge and landslide repair, and traffic calming and ADA improvement throughout the city. Also, you may have heard, we are finally wrapping our general plan 2040. It has a lot of aspirational elements included, and we are nearing completion. So we will be going to Planning Commission and Council this May, and we'll have it adopted by June of this year, 2023. With that, that's all I have, and I'll be happy to take any questions you may have.
Great. Are there, thank you, Matt. Are there any questions from the committee right now?
Chair, this is Claire Linder speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Pleasant Hill, on adding some affordable housing. It's desperately needed, as you know. I have a question about renewal of the bicycle pedestrian plan. A few years ago, there was a plan to put in bike and pedestrian improvements on 680 through around Contra Costa Center, and technically that's county property, but since Pleasant Hill's an adjoining jurisdiction, I thought I'd ask you if you knew anything about that.
So I'm hoping we are referring to the Monument Boulevard corridor.
No, not Monument. It's I-680 bicycle and pedestrian plan. It's the county, not the city.
City one, okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do not have information on that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Is that something you have easy access to through a colleague at the city to get that?
Yes, absolutely. So I can definitely send that information to Matt to get that circulated to this commission.
And,
okay, great.
The county will be submitting has just submitted their checklist, so we can always ask staff when they present on that particular project.
Okay, that'd be
we
great.
We do have a report we can send out.
Okay, so if you could add Matt in he's going to send that to you to answer Claire's question. And once we do, if you could forward that to the group. Member Sanders, you got your hand up?
Yeah, so obviously I'm new. I don't have a lot of perspective. 21 was COVID, 22 was obviously improving from COVID. Are those housing numbers that you were describing, are they good? Are they on plan, or are they sort of behind in terms of where you want to be, or what's the perspective on it?
It's definitely we are catching up, right? Because the state has some mandate when it comes to housing element, and this general plan update, what we are doing it is definitely includes all the potential area to cover what the state is mandating from us. And definitely we have identified great location throughout the city to provide these housing. But end of the day, we had to wait for a developer to come through and implement this. But we are picking up, so we did had a slow year, but definitely 22, 23, we have seen a lot of permits being pulled and trying to get the construction moving.
Thank you.
Thanks. Ed, I see you're next up. Chris, you want to
Well,
put down your virtual?
Yeah, and my question's so fast that I think there's one other person with their hand up, but mine's so fast it will make your head spin. I just wanted to ask, which regional transportation groups do you coordinate through? Are you part of SWAT, or are you in a different, are you Transpac, are you SWAT? Which groups do you coordinate through?
Through Transpac.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks. That's all I needed. Sorry.
Did anybody else have, I have a question, but does anybody else have a question, or any other members? So, great work on the library, by the way. I live in Walnut Creek, and I've been over there in the kids section. And even though it's like one long building, I was surprised that I did not feel that my noisy kids were echoing throughout the whole building. So nice project. And I see the housing development that's coming up, what used to be the old library lot. And I've seen some of those crosswalk changes you're talking about. I really appreciate that. My question is related to, I guess your main drag there, Contra Costa Boulevard, which is also North Main Street in Walnut Creek, which keeps going. And then on the other side, do you ever talk with the other cities about coordinating traffic signals and get together on that major thoroughfare to help move cars along and into the next space?
We do. I think that is the countywide, signal coordination project that is going to be implemented, and that's where the works is happening right now. So from CCTA, and we do have vision, especially, it becomes a 680 corridor per se. And so we are coordinating with the other cities, and there is a grant program that going to look into how to coordinate it, how to get the traffic through much more efficiently through that corridor. So we are working with other cities as well as CCTA on this.
So can you elaborate a little? And Matt, if you want to chime in, I know we've talked about the synchronization issues that you guys are working on, the money coming through for that now.
26 million.
Are you guys meeting regularly, or when was the last meeting, or is there a future meeting on the books with any of your neighbors related to that program? And can you fill in any details about like some of those actions you guys are looking at taking?
Matt,
on the CCTA side of things, John Huang may or may not be available. He's managing that project for CCTA. So I'm not sure the last time they met. Jonathan, I don't know if you have been involved.
Matt, this is John. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Go ahead, John.
Oh yeah. Hi. Thanks for the question, Chair. So John Huang, Director of Planning for CCTA, and as announcement, or as it was mentioned that CCTA is leading a project called this Countywide Smart Signals project. We receive an OBAG 3 One Bay Area Grant 3 from MTC, and altogether the project is a $30 million project that will be interconnecting major signals at major regional routes of significance and major arterials throughout the county, including Pleasant Hill and all the other 19 jurisdictions. So the last meeting actually was, last stakeholders meeting was this afternoon. So we are meeting regularly on a monthly basis. We have a core group that's been established of key members, key cities, and then also the larger group, which includes not only the 20 jurisdictions, but also transit, BART, and Caltrans. So that is coming up. That's coming. We're just basically starting the project right now, so we still have a lot of work to do, but we're in a process called a concept of operations. So that's looking at the different scenarios and look at the equipment that we're going to be deploying within each cities, and then following up the con ops will be the design and construction. We hope to go to construction in I think 20. What are we doing? It's will be like day 25. So a lot of collaboration, a lot of coordination with the cities, and we need that to make it successful. And to your point, that the cross-jurisdictional cities adjacent to each other, traffic doesn't end or stop at the boundary city line. So it is a multi-jurisdictional effort, and if you're interested, I can certainly bring back some more information or presentation down the road, maybe as we get more information and some more tangible stuff to present. Thank you.
Yeah, please. I think that's great. So I would just leave it with the thought, if Pleasant Hill could, make sure you're talking to Walnut Creek and Concord about it, right? I know you guys share best practices and ideas, but one of the big things I think we're going to encourage for every city here is on these regional thoroughfares. John's working on that project. Hopefully there's federal money coming for a lot of the cities on this stuff, but we want to try to bring everybody together in a happy way and lights sync all the way through and hopefully keep moving traffic. So we would just encourage you to please talk to your neighbors, because your sync might work, but then everybody's stuck in the next town over.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Do we have any public? Terry Ann?
No written or verbal public comment.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt Pleasant Hills checklist? Somebody come off mute.
So moved.
Thanks,
I'll
Judd.
second. That's Miller, second.
All right. Terry Ann, can you please conduct a roll call vote and announce the outcome?
Member Bristow,
Yes.
Member Carr,
Yes.
Member Esquivel,
Yes.
Member Hammond,
I'm gonna try aye.
thank you. Member Miller,
Aye.
Member Moriarty,
Yes.
Member Saunders,
Yes.
Vice Chair Linder,
Yes.
Chair Ash.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously with members Bankert, Chahal, Asuna, Vega, and Wayne absent.
Great. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. Good things happening in Pleasant Hill.
Thank you so much.
So have a good evening.
You.
All right. The next item will be introduced also by the super wonderful, fabulous Matt Kelly. I got to throw some comments in for Terry Ann, so somebody remember to poke me on that. And presented by the City of Concord staff.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Ash. So continuing on with the Central County theme tonight, we have the City of Concord and their 2020 and 2021 Measure J GMP compliance checklist. We have a few folks here tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Saravana Suthanthira from the City of Concord to introduce folks on that end and to share her screen. But once again, they'll present and then we can open it up for questions. But Saravana, why don't you take it away?
Good evening, Chair and committee members. Thank you, Matt, for the introduction. And as Matt said, we are a group of folks from City of Concord, so we give you a complete perspective, I suppose. And I am Saravana Sudandra, Transportation Program Manager with the City of Concord. And we have Aaron Sage, our Principal Planner, who will talk about the housing numbers and all the development. And we also have Aldrich Bautista, our Associate Civil Engineer, who can help respond to any CIP related questions if you have. So it's going to be a joint presentation. Can I go ahead, Matt, Chair? Okay.
Please.
Can you see my screen here?
Oh, we see the presenter side, I think.
Yeah.
Just swap the presenter's view under display settings. Up at the top, above the presentation. You go to the display settings and do the drop down next to it.
One left.
Right, yeah, to the left. And the drop down and then swap presenter view.
There
Yep.
we go.
Okay.
There we
Thank you.
go. Thank you.
We are going to start with the transportation side of things and mostly talk about the highlight projects and how actually what was presented before in the last cycle, how it's transforming and how we are getting to the implementation of that. And one of the project, I'm taking a step back again. We are making all efforts to work strategically and also methodically so we can create a cohesive safe bike ped network across the city. And the couple of projects that I show, you can see that they are kind of pieces of the puzzle and in making or advancing our safe bike and ped network and also for the autos. So this project was part of in the last cycle, you may have seen this study, which is the Complete Streets study for Willow Pass Road, Galindo Street, and Cowell Road. And based on this community adopted plan, our community supported and council adopted plan, we were able to go after funds and we got the grants, which got approved actually very recently. And with that, we are able to, we are looking to move into design and construction. And the grant we got was for $7 million. And this will help us complete Galindo Street multimodal corridor, which will include class 1 and class 2 bike lanes and also class 4 on a little bit of Clayton Road. And if you have more specific questions, I will be happy to answer, but I am talking more high level at this point. And then the next one is Willow Pass Road Bikeway Connector. This is going to be a class 4 ice cycle track, and that will from Landana to the City Hall area, Parkside, and then on Parkside we will have class 2 bike lane. So we are looking at for about we got about 3.7 million, but the overall project cost is about over $4 million. And we are moving into design, and then the construction is in 2025 or 2026. But I'm just giving you the big picture here. And in terms of planning, we started the study on Pine Hollow Road, a complete street study in 2021. And this was adopted in fall 2022. And this is about 2.2 mile stretch. And we worked with, I was the project manager and worked with, there are 5 schools on just this 2.2 mile stretch, and there are 2 quarries. The combination is very unique here and a lot of safety challenges. And as part of the comprehensive community intense with the community intense outreach, we were able to come up with solutions which are majority of this corridor or major portion of this corridor will have 2-way cycle track. And then within Concord, it's actually a joint project between Concord and City of Clayton. And so within Concord, we are looking at a two-way cycle track or one-way cycle track on both sides of the roads. And then moving into Clayton portion, it's a sharrow given the constraint, right-of-way constraint. But this was well supported by the community, and also the council approved, and we are having a little difficulty getting grants for this given the land use context or the type of the demography, but we are trying to focus more on the schools and how it will improve the safety for schools, and that's our aim moving forward. We are hoping to get some grants soon so we can start advancing this into implementation. And we also have this 5-year capital improvement program adopted, and the 2-year CIP budget. It's a very comprehensive one, which includes the capital and the maintenance work, and there are like 7 different categories. And it's the 2-year CIP is 121 million. And if you have any specific questions later on, and we have our project manager Aldrich here, and he will be able to answer that. And now I would like to transition to Aaron, and he will talk about housing development.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Sage. I'm a principal planner with the City of Concord's Planning Division, and I'm mainly responsible for the housing element update along with some other major development projects. And there's been a lot going on in the last 2 years, so I'll try to give a high-level overview of current development activity, both on the residential side and commercial. On the residential side, going back to 2014, which is the date when our previous housing element, we recently adopted a new one. So we're still kind of doing our reporting off of the last housing element cycle, which started in 2014. But since that time, we have completed about 700 units. We have 924 units in our pipeline that have been entitled, and then 435 of those are currently under construction. We have, this number actually needs to be updated. It's currently about 200 dwelling units, excuse me, under review right now as pending entitlements. Most of our recent residential construction has been located in or near the downtown, and I'll show a slide to go a little more detailed on that shortly. And I wanted to share this hyperlink, which is to a development viewer. It's a very nice tool, that interactive tool, a city map, where you can see all the major development activity. You can pull up plans and get basic project information. So that's a helpful resource. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we're looking here at downtown Concord with the BART station on the bottom, Todos Santos kind of at the upper right. And wanted to just walk you through some of the major projects that have either been recently completed or are under construction now. Next slide, please. So in January of this year, the grant, a 228 unit mixed use development, was completed at the corner of Grant and Colfax Streets, just 1 block down from BART. And this was all market rate units. Next slide. Couple blocks over at Willow Pass and East Street. The project formerly called the Argent, which is now actually called Blue Oak Square, broke ground earlier this year. This project has a total of 181 units, of which 179 of those are below market rate, and the other 2 are managers units. Next slide, please. And then moving over to the Galindo corridor, there's been a lot going on there. In December of last year, the Rick Judd Commons project, previously known as Galindo Terrace, broke ground. That project has 60 below market rate units, 61 below market rate units plus a manager's unit. And that project has a significant amount of city funding involved. I believe it's about $7 million. Next slide. Then just moving, I believe immediately adjacent to that project is another affordable project, 75 units, the RMG Affordable Housing Project. This has a total of 75 units, of which 30 are below market rate. Next slide. And then there are a couple other projects I'm not going to mention as well, but wanted to now look at some surplus sites that are a little farther out time-wise in the development process. But the two on the right, Town Center 2 and Oak Street, these are city-owned properties, former redevelopment properties that last May, the city council declared as surplus property. And now pursuant to the State Surplus Lands Act, we are going through a process of making those available for affordable housing development. We have released a notice of availability for the Town Center 2 site at the top. This is the site that a lot of people know as the white picket fence site at the intersection of Clayton Road, Concord, and Galindo. It's about a 3-acre site, and a notice of availability was released last November, and we've received 6 proposals for 100% affordable housing developments. And staff is currently evaluating those, and we'll be presenting those to council in the next couple of months. And then on the Oak Street property, this is actually 2 parcels with a right-of-way. I believe it's Mount Diablo Street running between the 2 of those. Total of 4 acres. This one is identified for about 400 units in our housing element. The Town Center 2 site I didn't mention is about 300 units in our housing element. And this one is further out. It's anticipated that a notice of availability would be released sometime next year. And prior to that, the city will be studying whether vacating that right-of-way and merging the 2 parcels to create even more development potential would have any adverse traffic impacts. Both of these sites are included in our housing element as part of our many different strategies for boosting affordable housing production. And then lastly, kind of going to the property at the lower left there, this is a property owned by BART. It's half a mile south of the BART station. It has a track running through part of it, but we have identified it for approximately 800 units in our housing element. And we have a program to coordinate with BART to discuss what changes to the city's code might be necessary to make that site align with BART's TOD policies and really position it for them to be able to move forward with selecting a developer for that property. Next, let's move on to commercial development, I believe. So the first project is the Hampton Inn located at 1880 Market Street. You may have noticed that project is under construction. It's an 86-room hotel and has an estimated opening date actually next month. And then we have several projects that are entitled and that are, I believe most of these have building permits issued or will be issued shortly. A Dutch Brothers on Clayton Road, a Chick-fil-A on Diamond Boulevard, a 100-child preschool on Treat Boulevard, and a 60,000 square foot light industrial building on Bates Avenue. Not quite as much happening on the commercial side, but certainly some major projects. Next slide. And then the big project that I'm sure most people think about when they think about Concord is the former Naval Weapons Station property. This slide shows the adopted area plan from 2012, I believe. For those of you that may not know all the history, the city council selected Lennar as the master developer several years ago. They developed a specific plan and an environmental document. Those were never finalized because due to primarily costs associated with labor requirements, Lennar opted not to pursue the project, and the agreement with Lennar expired. The council then selected another partnership called Concord First Partners. That agreement also expired due to a variety of factors earlier this year. And so if we can go to the next slide. In January, council declined to extend the agreement with Concord First Partners. And on March 14th, council gave direction to staff on next steps and what they would like to see for a request for selections or request for qualifications process to select another master developer. Part of that direction, not from the entire council, but some members spoke on their desire to see development prioritized for the area near the North Concord BART station earlier than had been proposed by Concord First Partners. So that would certainly be part of the discussion with the next developer. Staff is working on the RFQ, is expecting to release that in May of 2023. What staff is going to be proposing is a hybrid RFQ RFP process. So it will have more specificity than a typical RFQ to hopefully streamline that process. And I believe that was my last slide. Oh, no, actually, this is a very important one. The housing element update, wanted to kind of give you some highlights on that. So on March 14th, City Council adopted our housing element update. The RHNA allocation, which stands for the Regional Housing Needs Allocation that comes from ABAG, which is the number of units that we need to plan for, is 5,073 units. And we identify enough sites to accommodate approximately 6,400 units in our housing element. So we feel pretty confident on that front. The major programs that have been included are to adopt rent stabilization and just cause for eviction ordinances as a tenant protection and homelessness prevention measure, to rezone areas predominantly in that more affluent and predominantly white parts of Concord to address fair housing issues, and that needs to accommodate at least 1,000 lower income units. And no specific sites have been selected for that yet. That would be done through a community input process over the next 18 months or so. To allow tiny homes and multifamily housing on properties owned by religious institutions to unlock the capacity there. And then finally, to allow all multifamily housing by right when all objective design standards are being met. Currently, we require a use permit and a public hearing for a multifamily housing project in a commercial or mixed use district. So that does create somewhat of a barrier to new development, and that's proposed to be removed. And that should be all of my slides. Happy to take any questions as well as to our transportation side.
Great. Thank you for your presentation to both of you. So who from our members have questions? Claire, you're up from your city, so hit us up.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. I'm glad to see some affordable units and inching towards getting towards Concord's RHNA goals. Can you, I'm sorry if I missed it, what's the forecast completion dates for the Ashbury and Galindo projects? And could you repeat the numbers of affordable units? Thanks.
Sure. I don't know an exact date for the Galindo Terrace project, but these projects typically take about 2 years to complete. So I would anticipate, roughly 18 months from now. I believe you asked for the number of units on that. It's 61 below market and 1 market rate manager's unit. The Ashbury project, I didn't discuss that, but that one is, I believe it's about 180 units. And I don't know how many of those are affordable off the top of my head. That one is going through revisions. They had a higher number entitled, 300 plus units entitled, but they were not able to get funding. So they're now exploring a smaller project and going through the entitlement process for that. So the construction on that is a lot further out since they're not entitled yet.
Thank you.
Great. I see Ed next and then Chris on my screen. So Ed.
Yes, thank you very much. Three real quick points. And first one is a question. That BART property, is that adjacent basically to the transit repair yard? Is that what we're talking about when you talk? Yeah, exactly. That one down there. Is that adjacent to the repair yard, or where is that?
I believe that is further south.
Further south. Okay, got it. All right.
The
all right.
repair yard, yeah.
That was quick and easy. The second thing is, I know you're not going to be used to hearing something on the advocacy side toward housing kind of stuff, because this is a transportation board, but I have a drum I bang frequently on this particular one. So if you don't mind, with respect to the project that's potentially, going to happen someday over at the Concord Naval Weapons Station, I know that everyone thinks about housing, cram as much housing as we can in here so we can get all our, people on 24 and 680 and get them over to the city to work. I say sarcastically, but my advocacy is simply to just plant one more seed for the idea that if for some reason that property were zoned and developed more with a commercial mindset, then it could have transportation impacts that are even greater, in the sense of you could have, you could have a few reverse commuters, and you could also have a large amount of traffic which buffets through from, Brentwood, Antioch, the Far East County. It would be awesome to think that they could stop and actually be at their job there at the Naval Weapons Station, and that attenuates a lot of the downstream effects then on 24 and 680 and 242, and 4. So I'm just saying it. I know this isn't the forum for it. Happy to come as an ordinary citizen and make that statement as at a city council meeting, just in the non-agenda related comments. And then the third piece is just I wanted to note that as a resident of Clayton, we of course frequently travel Clayton Road and to get to the commercial areas of Concord and Pleasant Hill. And one of the things that just has struck me is that Clayton Road itself has become so slow to navigate down at many hours of the day, but a lot of it has to do with the number of lights that you hit. So here's my encouragement to participate in the $26 million, $30 million project for light coordination with the county, with CCTA. I apologize. And the reason I say that is my wife now regularly just takes Cowell, or even as made it her idea to just go down Concord Boulevard to get there. And I say, why are you going Concord Boulevard? It kind of goes off to the side a little bit. And she said, yeah, but fewer lights. So depending on what your desired traffic patterns are, just encouragement to look at coordination of lights to make them a little bit more efficient. Thanks for listening to me.
Great. Chris, and then Kent, I see you next.
Thank you, Chris Saunders from Moraga. Regarding the bike lanes and stuff, I certainly support, proper cities and pedestrian safety and bicycle safety. One of the things reading your report, and that was fun going through 80 pages of that, it's a little dry, but is there not a way, or maybe you can comment at some point on what are the results of the things that we're doing already? We're spending money on trying to get people on public transport, riding their bikes, but how effective are we being in your cities to, move it in that direction? It doesn't happen overnight, but what kind of results are you seeing with kids riding to school and people riding bikes to work and taking buses when they used to drive, those kinds of things? And they're all kind of outlined in your Transpac plan, what you did, but not the results.
Thank you, committee member, for this question. As a transportation planner or transportation professional, we always like to see do the evaluation of any of the program to assess their impact. And someday we will do it, but this is not the time, especially with the COVID situation. All traffic is, the pattern is very different now, and it's still evolving. So probably it'll take few years to settle down. The transit ridership is totally off, and everyone is trying to figure out as the modelers or the data collectors. So we are trying to see how it can be, and safety issue is very high nowadays because most people work from home, and then there are more traffic on all times of the day. So we'll all want to see the benefit of the investment we are making, but probably in few years we need to wait to see that. So hope that the city or CCTA at the county level, they can initiate some kind of a study to get the data to see how it's going. I know it's not what you want to hear, but the situation, these few years are not good. So,
and just to add on to Saravana's statement, as part of the action plans, we do monitor the objectives in the action plans. So we do try and stay on top of the trends. So when we update the action plans the next time, we can use that information to make decisions. But like Saravana said, we haven't collected that data yet. So it will be in future iterations.
Great. And hey, we appreciate honesty that sometimes the answer is the world's still spinning, right? So Kent, got some questions, comments?
I had another question for Saravana. In your part of the presentation, you were talking about the cycle track, plans for a cycle track along Pine Hollow, and that there's a lot of schools along there. And I was inspired seeing pictures of kids riding to school. I know here in Pinole, we're having a lot of trouble now with traffic and cars around the middle school because no kids get to school any other way but by being driven. But then you mentioned that you're having trouble getting grant funding for it because of demographics, you said, and I was just wondering if you could elaborate, because it sounds like such a great project, and I wonder why you're not getting, it's difficult to get grant money for it.
Yeah, in terms of the kids riding, yes, we were out there doing a demo for one day, just laying out on the ground with all the cones, how the protected bike lane will be if it's implemented, and it was really well received, and kids had a great time, and some of the kids came to us and thanked us too. So it was very fulfilling. But then we want to really make it a reality. And in terms of the demography, most of the grants, federal and state grants, they are looking for how we are serving the community of concern, or it is called now equity priority communities, where more disadvantaged population live. So, I mean, that carries heavy marks or heavy scoring points. And this particular section of the road, we had a hard time. And also there is another criteria is free meal for the number of, or the share of students that are going for free meal program, and that is also not up to the level that they are looking for. So we had difficulty. I mean, we went after at least 2 grants and we weren't successful, but as a project, it really technically and also in terms of safety aspect, it was scoring good points. So we are looking for the right grant call to come out, for us to apply again. So.
Well, good luck with that. I sure hope it comes to be.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I see anybody else with questions? I have
I just wanted to mention one thing, Jared. My wife
Yeah.
actually works at Pine Hollow Middle School as a teacher, so I can tell you there's there's an elementary school right across the street from it. And then my kids attend high school at Clayton Valley Charter, which is right at the other end there, Alberta, which dovetails into this. So if you wanted to go even further than that, my older children's mother works at the middle school in the lunch section. So I've even got a hand in the free lunch part there. But I have a lot of skin in this particular area, and I really do hope this project comes to bear because there are a ton of kids down there.
Great. So thank you. And I think my question is similar to what I asked Pleasant Hill if you were on for that, but particularly Ignacio Valley Road, which becomes Kirker Pass, has a lot of multi-jurisdictional traffic on it. And you have people coming from, I mean, I think it touches Pittsburgh, Bay Point, which is unincorporated, the city of Concord, the city of Clayton, Walnut Creek, 24, 680, the BART station, all touch on it. And I wanted to see what the city is doing to coordinate with the other cities, because the traffic flow isn't a problem with one city, but it's with all of them and all of the lights syncing throughout.
Oh, I wish I have a response for this, but I don't. My one way of looking at it is probably CCTA's the Smart Signal Project. It could be looking at it, and I think your Ignacio Valley Road is one of the corridor. So it's hard to do again, within the city, as you said, it's not individual cities problem, but again, collectively the corridor is experiencing issues. And so in that case, multi-jurisdictional view, only county level agency can do it. Again, I hope if John Huang is here, he may be able to respond to that. And
yeah, we heard from John a little earlier, so
okay.
Yeah, we're familiar with his work. Well, I would encourage, as part of that, you in the next 3 months to be proactive and get John into the meeting, but also invite your colleagues from the other cities to share best practices on that corridor and sit down at somebody's office, share best practices. I really take an action step here of just some of it. If everybody gets in the same room post-COVID, we all forgot to get in the same physical room. A lot of good stuff can happen, hopefully, for everybody. So I would really encourage that, and CCTA to play a role with those, I think, 5 or 6 jurisdictions there. So if you could do that, that would be great. I also wanted to ask on Treat Boulevard, I have heard a rumor that a portion of Treat around Oak Grove, give or take half a mile, either way, is about to have some work done. I know that area is heavily potholed due to the storms. It was potholed probably before, but definitely this winter took a beating. Is there a project coming for that, and what's happening on Treat?
I'm going to defer that to Aldrich. Can you respond? Can you take that, Aldrich?
Yes, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Aldrich Batista. I'm an associate civil with the city of Concord. And so we are having we are repaving Treat. We actually have a project going out into construction this summer for Treat Boulevard Phase 1. If I may share my screen for a second. So we do have a project that will be going on into construction very soon from the Walnut Creek city limits to San Miguel Road. That will be including adding bicycle facilities. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do have a capital improvement website at the City of Concord. You can use the link above here. If you see the link above here, or if you want to go, you can go there by going to your government, the engineering division, and then you may click on go to the capital improvement section, and we do have our CIP map linkable right here on this image. So to answer your question, yes, we do have a project that, and you can click on here for more information. Does include bike facilities as part of this project. And it's funded by Measure V funds.
So is that, does that take away lane space, or was it wide enough and the lanes are shrinking, or where's the bike path coming from?
Let me double check. Sorry, I might have misspoke. I think we're keeping the lanes, but we're gonna, on phase 2 will be bike facilities. I think there's room for that. Let's see, where was that? Sorry. Let me just check one thing, but not to hold you up, it is, I believe we are trying to fit in bike facilities as part of the project.
Awesome, that's great, and way to call in a friend to assist and bring in a third partner who had the answer and the map ready. And I live over off of Citrus in Walnut Creek, which connects to Treat there. And I noticed you guys have done a lot of work on that side of Citrus, adding in some bike lanes, some separation in the road and measures to slow it down. And I just want to compliment you guys on that. And I asked the city of Walnut Creek about doing the same side, the same work on their side of Citrus, and they told me no. So I appreciate the work you guys have done there, and that's just over there in the corner of your screen. So I appreciate that. Do we have Terry Ann, who always gets stuff done, who is our inspiration to keep us organized for these meetings? Do we have any members of the public here for comments or questions?
Ivana, would you mind taking down your slide? Thank you. We do not have any public members. We have no verbal public comment, and we have no written public comment.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the crowd? Awesome. Claire, this is your city. Would you like to do the honors of a motion?
Certainly. Move to accept City of Concord's proposal.
We have a second?
Second. Second by Miller.
Ed. Terry Ann, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
You, Member Bristow,
Yes.
Member Carr,
Yes.
Member Esquivel,
Yes.
Member Hammond,
Yes.
Member Miller,
Aye.
Member Moriarty,
Yes.
Member Saunders,
Yes.
Vice Chair Linder,
Yes.
Chair Ash.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously with members Bankert, Chahal, Osana, Vega, and Wayne absent.
Thank you for the city of Concord for attending. We really appreciate your presentation and your time and answering some of our tough questions. Okay, that concludes our regular agenda items for today. Does anyone have a summary report on CCTA meetings held in April? And I would encourage with that, Matt, if you want to talk about the Redefining Mobility Summit and the outcome.
Yeah, so we had I believe it was our 9th Redefining Mobility Summit, and it looks like we had at least 2 members of this committee attend this year. members Ash and Sanders. And so, did I get that right? Yes. And so, you know, we had contingency of speakers from Australia, Japan. I think there were folks from the Netherlands. So, and it's sold out. So it was very successful from an attendee perspective. The presentations were really good, kind of pushing the boundary of the topics we normally have. And my favorite part was was last year was the student demo area where students, I believe they were mostly from kids I talked to were from Pittsburgh High, but there may have been other high schools there, showing off their robots and their other STEM inventions, just really amazing stuff that kids are doing now. And that's been a big thing at the last couple of Redefining Mobility Summits is CCTA in general has been involved in kind of the STEAM and STEM programs at schools in Contra Costa. And as part of that, we've been inviting those kids to show off their creativity at the Redefining Mobility Summit. So all in all, I thought it went well again this year, and next year as the 10th, I think will be even better. So yeah, thanks for those who attended, and we'll keep encouraging you all to attend in future years.
Great. Any other updates, Matt or anybody else?
Okay.
Yeah, Patty.
Okay. Yeah, Jared, I'm sorry that I missed you at the chamber, that you were all the way out in Brentwood. So I'm just going to say that if anybody is at the Pleasant Hill Community Center tomorrow night, I will be there. I will be representing LAFCO at the 30th anniversary of Special Districts. So if anybody's going to be there, please say hello. That would be great. The other thing I want to say too is my heart goes out to you, Member Miller, about your wife and her concerns over not having enough traffic lights. I know this sounds crazy, but I wish our meeting would start at 3:30, because then I would put my iPad so that you could see through my dining room window at the street at Camino Diablo, because from 3:30 till 6 o'clock, it is non-stop on Camino Diablo in Byron. It is a country road. 21,000 cars go by my house every day. And State Route 239, which has been on the books since 1959 to build, is still on the books. So I know everybody is on here for their own reasons, but I just know that we have a lot to do, and please don't forget State Route 239. Thank you.
Definitely.
Awesome, thanks. And nope, I know that's an important one for the growth of the East County out there, and we'll continue to follow that. Anybody else with anything? Or if not, the Warriors game is on, so no pressure.
I only need like 5 seconds. I just wanted to point out, I didn't come with detail, so I'm not going to speak in detail, but we just recently had the City of Richmond present, and we had, I was very excited to see all of the development projects that were happening there and so forth. And I would just encourage people to look into the East Bay Times or other local newspapers. There's been, unfortunately, some of those housing projects have imploded due to questions about the money, where it came, where it went. So I won't go into detail, but I encourage everyone to learn about that.
Interesting. Okay. Anything else? Staff, any other questions, comments?
I just have just a brief update about meeting conduct.
Yes, please.
So we did, at the last board meeting last week in April, the board did approve remote meetings for another month. So the meeting in May will be remote. June will be decided at the May 17th meeting. So again, just be prepared at any given time, but we are good for May to continue meeting virtually. And then I just had one other quick update. You may have seen Emily Owen on here. She is our new administrative staff that will be working with the Citizens Advisory Committee. So I wanted to introduce her. Jacqueline Hill is no longer working with the authority. She needed to take some time off to care for her mom. So Emily has joined our team, and we were sad to lose Jackie, and we're really excited to have Emily here. So I just wanted to introduce her.
Well, welcome, Emily, and we look forward to meeting you and seeing your great work to challenge us to all be better.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
All right, Terry-Ann, have we received any other public comment on these reports, or is there any member of the public here?
No further public comment.
Okay, the next item is correspondence and communications. Do we have any related? There was the article.
No public comment.
Okay, is there any future topics that the members would like to agendaize in the future? Please raise your hand.
I've logged the Smart Signals program as a future agenda item when there is something to share. And also wanted to note for next month, as I mentioned, we are in the middle of checklist season, so we will have a couple of checklists, but we also are going to be presenting on a new study that the authority is beginning called the State Route 4 Vision Study. And we're looking at State Route 4 from end to end, which is about 50 miles or so, 47 miles maybe, from Hercules at I-80 to the county line at Discovery Bay. So we'll be doing a holistic look at that corridor. And we're kicking it off basically by running it by you guys for your input. So that we'll be presenting that along with a couple of checklists next month.
Great, that sounds good. I like getting the diversity all over the county, so thank you for that. Any other topics from the members? Chris, if you ever feel like there's something you want to learn about as we go, just feel free to shout out. The staff is great with that. So this concludes our meeting. This meeting is adjourned at 7:18 p.m. Great timing on tonight. Go Warriors. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.